What's good, guys? Yo, boy, no mercy, 4K. Louis Mercy in the building. Back at you another banger reaction video. Today we got the most terrifying stands the world over heaven. This is a video reaction I've been requested to react to for a minute now. The world over heaven is apparently a very tough stand. We gonna see what this video is talking about. If you enjoy this reaction, want to see more videos and reactions like this, please smash the like button and subscribe if you are new here and you want to help me out and want to support me, and you just want to see more videos like this to JOJO's stands, most terrifying stands. Just hit the like button. I'll react to more. But let me know your thoughts below, what you guys think about this video, my reaction to it. I hope you enjoy, and it's good. What's good, bro? If you want to see full and uncut reactions earlier than when I post them on here on YouTube, consider checking out the Patreon. Link is in the description. Supporting on Patreon helps me keep making banger videos for you guys, bro. The most terrifying stands the world over heaven. Check it out. The world over heaven. That sounds crazy. The world over there ain't no world over heaven. Apparently there's a stand about it.
It's been 4 very long years to get to this point, ladies and gentlemen. The most terrifying stands the world over heaven.
Okay. Episode 10.
I originally started the most terrifying.
It's not the worst looking it's not the worst looking transformation, but you could just tell this dude is conceited as hell. Ain't no way this man got D.O. written on his freaking face, man. Yo, that's crazy.
I originally started the most terrifying stands as a fun way to describe stands that are just really weird and abstract and powerful, but it slowly became into this video series where I'm describing just some of the most blatantly overpowered characters within this franchise. And in today's episode, it's probably the biggest.
We've seen a good few of them, by the way. If you want to see the other most terrifying stands videos that I've seen before, just look up in my channel. You can go to my channel and look up the JOJO's playlist. Most terrifying stands. I've seen a good few of them already, but if you guys want me to react to more of them, the rest of them, just hit the like button on this video if you enjoy this reaction and want to see more. That's how I know you will want me to. Hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Helps me out, helps me grow. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Of that, Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven are probably one of the strongest characters in the JoJo franchise, including non-canon characters. This man is insane. If you thought stands like Gold Experience Requiem, Made in Heaven, D4C Love Train are extremely powerful and terrifying, they got nothing on the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio. We have entered a whole new class. Gold Experience Requiem, Made in Heaven, D4C Love Train are extremely powerful and terrifying, they got nothing on the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio. We have entered a whole new class of monstrous in this video series. And with that being said, please do enjoy the video. So this is the start of the video where I would be like, what's his musical reference? But in this case, Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven don't have a musical reference, as they are video game characters, so they don't really strictly follow the original Araki thought process when making these characters. So instead, I'm going to actually be explaining his origins, as they ask a question: what if Dio won in Stardust Crusaders? Now that what if has sparked a lot of ideas slash what ifs that have appeared here on YouTube, but thanks to Bandai Namco and their genius writers, they thought, let's take a crack at it and make a whole video game about it. So what can be gathered from Heaven Ascension Dio's timeline is that sometime during the final battle between him and Jotaro, Dio won. And that's as much as they tell you, but that's literally it. It's just Dio won that fight.
Okay, so just know I'm going to be lost a lot, because I don't know the lore, because I haven't really watched JoJo's.
There is a bit of information that I don't think a lot of people realize. During chapter 6 of the video game, Heaven Ascension Dio's Pucci actually slightly talks about how he met Jotaro in 1988, and then proceeds to not elaborate why he was there in 1988 meeting Jotaro. Thank you, Pucci, I guess? From this slight deviation of Pucci not going back to Florida and instead staying with Dio in Egypt somehow led to the defeat of the Stardust Crusaders, which makes sense. Pucci and Whitesnake are ridiculously overpowered. I've covered them in the past, so it does make sense
sir.
putting a main villain level character with an already established main villain character like Dio would probably end up in the defeat of the main cast. It's very show don't tell, but it does make a lot of sense once you start to look at it like that. So of course, obviously, Dio and Pucci go through with their heaven plan without challenge now. And Dio now is able to ascend to Heaven Ascension Dio, where now he's able to rule over the world like a god, calling himself the Noble One now, and receiving his new stand, the World Over Heaven. Now there is a thing I do want to add here. The likelihood of the original plan from part 6 and Eyes of Heaven, this variation of Dio and Pucci, probably actually had different heaven plans. Why I say this is because in the original part 6 manga, the entire point of heaven is gaining a stand that has the ability to accelerate time, to manipulate fate, and bring a new type of happiness to mankind. In Eyes of Heaven, with this version of Pucci and this version of Dio, they straight up start rewriting reality itself, which was not part of the original plan, meaning that at some point the plan must have changed in this parallel world. Second thought here, or maybe Pucci never actually—
By the way, like I said, I don't really know much about this, so if you don't hear me talking throughout the video too much, it's because I'm trying to really listen to what he's saying. He talks fast. He doesn't give you time to breathe. You gotta really think about what he's saying and like just take it all in, especially since I don't know nothing.
Must have changed in this parallel world. Second thought here, or maybe Pucci never actually got the full plan to begin with. Thank the Lord Dio that this is all non-canon, because if any of this were true, it would complicate a lot of things. And why I say that is because New Moon Pucci in this game doesn't have Maiden Heaven. Technically in game, the game mechanic is he's able to evolve Sea Moon into Maiden Heaven, but what can actually be seen is that he only has Sea Moon, so he actually never got Maiden Heaven. Maybe. I'll be honest, Eyes of Heaven's plot's kind of confusing at times due to how things are structured and not very well explained. One flashback could have solved all my problems, but no, it's not how that works. And that's the origins of Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven. TLDR, he won Stardust Crusaders. Now moving on to the part everybody wants to know about. How strong is the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio? If there is one thing this game does right, and I think everybody will unanimously agree on this, is how awesome his introduction scene was. The World Over Heaven not only bullies Act 4, he also completely destroys Gold Experience Requiem, tanks a shot from Star Platinum the World at its prime, and then proceeds to completely, utterly stand rush the fuck out of them. I am so sad this is non-canon, because this is the single rawest thing in JoJo's that I have ever seen any character do. From this cutscene alone, you can determine Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven stats pretty far up on the power scaling chain in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I will scale all three of these Joestars pretty quickly to—
Man just 1v4, man solo squad. Bro, he just solo squatted the Monstars, bro. You got the— it's like, that's like solo squatting the Monstars, bro. You got the Hall of Fame, the best lineup of all time, man. You got LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, and Shaq, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got everybody in there, bro. Everybody you want. And they still getting solo squad. Like, damn.
Power scaling chain in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I will scale all three.
You got Goku, you got Vegeta, you got Superman, you got Saitama. They all getting wiped.
Joestars pretty quickly to get this idea across that the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio are just nuts.
Nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way, right? Goku don't lose. Goku don't lose to the World Over Heaven. Dio, right, chat?
Rush the fuck out of them. I am so sad this is non-canon, because this is the single rawest thing in JoJo's that I have ever seen any character do. From this cutscene alone, you can determine Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven stats pretty far up on the power scaling chain in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I will scale all three of these Joestars pretty quickly to get this idea across that the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio are just nuts. Starting off with Jotaro. In his prime during Part 3 Stardust Crusaders, it is stated in stat guides and the literal manga itself through scaling and statements of other characters that Star Platinum the World is a stand with massively faster than light plus speeds, AP that can be calced at its very highest at mountain level, and durability, probably thanks to him fighting Dio in the final half of Stardust Crusaders, probably being even higher than his AP, as the world has the same amount of AP that Star Platinum has. The World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio dogged on him. Johnny and Tusk Act 4 have the ability to spin their nails to an infinite infinite degree thanks to the golden rotation. This power is so strong it's able to destroy D4C Love Train's light barriers, which have the ability to make all misfortune redirect somewhere else, giving Funny Valentine the ability to always be in a state of good luck / fortune, never being able to take damage while inside the light barrier. And Tuss Act 4, thanks to its infinite energy, was able to completely destroy that light barrier, defeating Funny Valentine.
Wow.
And in some guidebooks, it even states that Tuss Act 4 and D4C Love Train are trans-dimensional beings. And when it comes to speed and durability, Johnny can definitely take some blows, but when it comes to his overall speed, thanks to Steel Ball Run not really giving a lot of speed feats, what best can be determined in that fight with Funny Valentine is that he's somewhere in a light speed to faster than light speed category. And guess what happens to him? He gets dogged on. Finally coming into Giorno Giovanna and his Gold Experience.
They all getting dogged on,
I will be
they all
using my
getting
previous
destroyed.
scaling from the Most Terrifying Stands Gold Experience Requiem's video scaling to briefly explain all of GR stuff, which now probably considered in the modern JoJo landscape as a bit of a highball for GR now. Thank you, Jobber. GR scaling is a bit high. Considered the ultimate stand, it scales above stands like Star Platinum the World in terms of AP and durability, or should scale around there. And since a lot of the stand stat guide statements say that he's still the ultimate stand when he's included with Tuss Act 4, Love Train, and Made in Heaven, GR speed should be somewhere near infinite / immeasurable. GR is no featherweight, and when it comes to his stand ability of reverting anything to 0, actions and wills included, he is extremely powerful and was considered one of the strongest stands for a very long time before the
GR is broken.
8. And even the strongest stand, even deemed the ultimate stand, was dog washed by Dio and the World Over Heaven. But oh, I'm not done. There's things people don't even mention / even remember from this game. Do you know that even Valentine himself stated this, that he can't even beat
World Over Heaven is only from this game. It's not really
Over
canon,
Heaven with the corpse parts? Even with D4C Love Train, a stand that's basically able to redirect misfortune away from him, couldn't beat this stand in a hypothetical fight. Even Valentine states that for a fact. It is on screen now. When it comes to the overall stats with his stand, Heaven Ascension Dio and the World Over Heaven are nuts, having speed somewhere in between massively faster than light plus infinite to immeasurable, depending on how you want to scale GR and Star Platinum. When it comes to AP, it is probably far greater than Star Platinum the World, and in terms of durability, I would also say the same as well. It is also even stated by Funny Valentine, his stand power is incredibly powerful and terrifying, and since he's already used powerful in this sentence, the word infinite here can be described as literally the number, not the idea sometimes in anime and manga where infinite's just another cool and fancier word to describe something as powerful. That's just his stats. I haven't even talked about overriding reality and time stop. Just to briefly go over it, because time stop is way easier to explain than overriding reality, Heaven Ascension Dio still has his previous ability of stopping time for a maximum of 9 seconds, at least in game, but in the original Part 3 manga had the ability to move in frozen time for 11 seconds. More than likely, this version of Dio probably has a higher time stop. As stated in JOJO 6251 in its stand encyclopedia guide, Araki mentions that if Dio was never stopped in Part 3, his time stop would have grown indefinitely. And since Heaven Ascension Dio is quite literally that Dio, it would make sense his time stop probably should have been longer. I guess a reason why it probably didn't get any longer is maybe Dio just stopped using it after a certain point. Maybe that would be the only explanation why it'd still be at 9 seconds after an undisclosed amount of time. And if anything, if it was longer, it probably would have broke the game, so that's probably why they didn't mention it.
I mean, it would be way too broken.
Cutscenes to begin with, but it's still part of his toolkit. Also, quick mention, no variation of the World Over Heaven or Dio has infinite time stop. I have no idea where this misconception comes from.
That's what I was about to say, bro. If you have that, this dude is unstoppable. If you have infinite time stop, like no limitation to it as well.
People think that for some reason. It's never stated anywhere in game he has infinite time stop, or outside of the game itself. There's nothing. I've stumbled across this idea multiple times throughout my time on the internet and exploring the JoJo community. It don't exist. The World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio do not have infinite time stop. That's just blatant misinformation. Time stop is still OP even in 2023. Now let's get into the bread and butter of the World Over Heaven, its ability to rewrite reality. To put it simply, if the World Over Heaven were to touch something with its fist, Dio has the ability to overwrite its reality, having the ability to wish whatever he wants into existence after hitting it. Note, it does have limits. If Dio was truly limitless with this ability, he could wish more corpse parts into existence and be able to successfully achieve his plan. He couldn't do that. He didn't do that. Clearly really does have limits. If anything, it's probably hyper-specific niche things a part of the JOJO multiverse that he can't reality manipulate, basically meaning that JOJO multiverse singularities are out of his reach, but everything else is basically fair game. As long as he can hit it with his fists, he can overwrite its reality. What he's shown to do with its ability is being able to steal and absorb souls away, use people as slaves if he wants to, heal himself automatically with the ability, resurrect the dead, and completely negate any ability that hits him, and is able to actually one-shot kill anybody he wants to if he so chooses with his weird purple mist. It's a thing, I guess. To go a little bit more in depth with how it actually affects stands and people in general, it basically makes anybody ineffective against him. That seems to be the common trend. Even Giorno, shockingly, his son, figures this out and even makes the comparison that his Heaven stand and his Requiem stand are very similar, except his father is grossly more powerful than him. This ability and stand are by far one of the strongest beings in all of JOJO, bar none. There's nothing that basically comes close to it other than novel cars and the Beyond characters in George Joestar. So nothing in the canon universe even comes close to the absolute nut shit Heaven Ascended Dio and the World Over Heaven can do. The only thing he can't do is just make another holy corpse. That's about it. And the limitations of his own creativity with his mind. That will basically answer a lot of people's questions out there that why didn't Dio do that? Because he just didn't think about it. Or possibly there's even more hyper specific rules about it that limit it, but you know, I can't answer that if I don't know it. Even when it comes to other characters gaining the same ability, I'm looking at you, Star Platinum over here. He still says they're not strong enough to fight him, and he's still stronger than them. He just keeps on getting stronger and stronger. The guy is nuts. But he does have two weaknesses I will talk about here. The World Over Heaven requires itself to hit something with its hands to rewrite reality. If it does not hit anything with its hands or fists, it will not do anything. It has to hit something with its fists. That's the mandatory requirement. So if you somehow, with plot armor, somehow get objects that were in part 3 and throw them at Dio and destroy his hands, he's useless, right? Also, I forgot to mention he has multiverse hopping abilities. He can hop into any timeline or parallel world if he wants to, like D4C Love Train, but is still subject to the rules that if he meets another object that's similar to him, they will collide and blow up. But here's the big but here. The entire ending of Eyes of Heaven is super circumstantial and would basically almost never happen. It is super plot armor based for Jotaro and crew. If anything, that didn't happen, he probably would have won. Now, of course, Dio's second weakness is, of course, himself. It is stated in literally the manga itself. The reason why Dio always loses is because he's always testing his limits. This has happened countless amounts of times throughout all the parts he's been in. If he just took these fights seriously and actually killed these guys the moment he has the chance to, he would win almost all of his fights, but he doesn't. Same idea goes here in Eyes of Heaven. He has the power to do it himself, but yet makes his minions do it for him, when he's fully capable of doing it himself and probably much more efficient. While he does have these minor weaknesses that you potentially could exploit, he probably is going to beat anybody and everybody in his path. Which brings me into the Eyes of Heaven plan. More or less, Heaven Ascended Dio needs the ultimate 36 sinners and the holy corpse parts to overwrite all of reality. With both of those things collected, he reaches his ultimate power, which was never shown on screen, but every time he got closer to it, reality around him would kind of start to break, if that means anything to anybody. But just going off of what Dio says, he would gain the ability to do anything he wants now. No limitations. Probably, and I'm just assuming here, he doesn't need to hit anything with his hands anymore. It's just full-on reality warping. He'd basically be unstoppable. Nobody in the verse would be able to defeat him. I'd argue even then he could possibly even beat some characters who are pretty nuts themselves and other non-canon material too. But since we never saw what actually happens at his full power, we will never actually know, as it's just all up to speculation. Which then brings me into this question.
Bro, this Dio is
a lot of people are gonna ask me. That is, where does the World Over Heaven and Heaven Ascension Dio place among the strongest characters in the series? Well, speaking canonically here, and not talking about his hypothetical overwriting reality form, plan, idea thing at the end of the game, he is still subject to calamity. He is still hit by things that still affect and harm him, even if they're really plot armor induced or really circumstantial. And since he still has to physically hit things for his ability to take effect, at least in this state, calamity and the go beyond bubbles would definitely harm him. So I would overall overall state in terms of ability, I would like to say the World Over Heaven's ability to overwrite reality is better. But speaking character-wise here, I think Toru and Gappy kind of have it over him. But if it's his full-on Eyes of Heaven state with his ability to overwrite reality, oh no, those two ain't doing shit. But when it comes to his regular form and with the Volume 27 statement and Araki supervising over the game and actually making Over Heaven Dio himself, as there are some concept arts of him, possibly, maybe Araki was thinking about that when he was writing JoJo with that Volume 27 statement, meaning that maybe Wonder Review and Soft and Wet Go Beyond are just actually stronger than the World Over Heaven, maybe. But it's all really just up to Araki, and I'm not him, so I can't really answer that question. I can only speculate. But
so only Soft and Wet
Wonder Review and Soft and Wet Go Beyond are just actually stronger than the World Over Heaven.
Only Wonder Review and Soft and Wet Go Beyond might be the only ones that could possibly beat World of Heaven.
But it's all really just up to Rocky, and I'm not him, so I can't really answer that question. I can only speak.
This dude is
But what I can tell you from my educated opinion is that the World Over Heaven is definitely in the top 3 of the strongest JoJo stands.
That's the
only
downside.
Including Eyes of Heaven and the main canon. Arguably number 1 at full power with 36 Sinners and the Holy Corpse parts. And just in terms of an actual character like Dio himself, he's probably arguably one of the stronger characters too in the franchise as well. But if we include other non-canon material, it does get a bit interesting, but that's a story for a later date. But I do want to justify one thing with this character that makes him so terrifying, probably the biggest reason why I wanted to do this video. Dio Over Heaven, with just his regular power or his Eyes of Heaven power-up that he hypothetically could get, gets so grossly overpowered that his own universe cannot handle him. In canon, there's only maybe 2 characters that can actually beat him. And thanks to his extremely powerful hacks abilities and his overall toolkit, he can realistically go into a lot of different franchises and clean house, basically. If it's not another reality warper or a character with some crazy ass feats, they're more or less screwed. There are not a lot of characters out there that have the ability to reality warp to a high degree. That is a very small...
Yo, my guy is saying Goku and all your favorite anime favorite characters and main characters is getting, and all their universes getting whooped. Nah, you're saying that they beating Xeno, though? You know Xeno from Dragon Ball? Yeah. Were you saying Xeno is losing a World Over Heaven though?
Some crazy ass feats. They're more or less screwed. There are not a lot of characters out there that have the ability to reality warp to a high degree. That is a very small category of people, and that's what makes him so terrifying. There is very little that another character.
Goku chat, let me know in the comments, or everybody in the comments, everybody watching this. Who you guys got? World Over Heaven Dio or Goku?
Could actually do to him. There are a very little amount of characters that could actually probably beat him. Under those measurements, that's why I deem him one of the most terrifying characters in JoJo and probably one of the more terrifying characters in fiction. He is nuts. He has the hacks and stats to back himself up. He's not your standard JoJo's character anymore. He's far beyond that. He's a different breed of monster. Now I hope you all understand why I put this character in this category, because, well, he's insane. One of the stronger characters in this franchise, one of the stronger characters in fiction. Now, with all that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter.
Hey man, W video, right? W video, man. W metas, W video right there. Another W most terrifying stands video from him. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to that. Most terrifying stands. World Over Heaven is definitely an insane stand. Definitely broken. I could see how it could definitely destroy every single other stand with the reality warping, with the non-insane time stop ability, depending on how long or how the limitations are on both those abilities itself. Dude is broken. Cannot stop it unless it has some limitations. And like he said, maybe there may be 1 or 2 stands of Wonder of You. I know Wonder of You is different. I do not want to be on Wonder of You bad side, but I do definitely not want to be under on World of Heaven's bad side either. That was a W video there. Very entertaining, interesting. Let me know what you guys thought about that video and my reaction to it. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. If you did and want me to react to more videos like this ASAP soon on the channel, please smash the like button, hit the like button, and subscribe. It really means a lot. I post every single day for you guys here, multiple day. Thank you guys for watching the video, especially until the end though. If you made it until the end, let me know by commenting. Hey, bruh. W, World Over Heaven. W, World Over Heaven. World Over Heaven is broken. It looks pretty tough. I ain't gonna lie. Dio World Over Heaven for him. It did look pretty tough. I ain't gonna lie. It looked kind of badass. It did. W World Over Heaven. Who's broken? Insane stand. W World Over Heaven in the chat. W World Over Heaven in the comments. If me until the end, that's all I'm gonna know. See you guys in the next one though. Have a great day.